for this brief, introduction about the purpose and the reason why we're here. The next thing is we inviting the guest speaker, President Malik Nkrumah, to actually give us his address. Is he here? I believe he's here.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. All protocols observed. Thank you all for joining us this evening. As we all know, as we continue to build on our lives, finances is one of the things that we need to tackle as young people growing up. So our finances is very important. That was one of the reasons why we organized this program, so that we can learn about some investments opportunities back home and also take advantage of them. So that's the reason why we brought this topic. Now, our speaker for today is Mr. Kwesi Anamoah Baiden. He is the Deputy Marketing and Investment Advisor at the Republic Investments Ghana Limited. We are privileged to have him here to share with us some investment strategies and other investment opportunities that we can take advantage of as students. So without much ado, I welcome our honorable speaker to educate us. Thank you very much.
Hello and good evening to you, Malik. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, please, we can hear you clearly. Please, you can share your screen so that we can see you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So I hope you can hear me and you can see me as well.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to leave my camera on in case the network at my end goes a bit bad. I would turn off the camera so that the concentration will be on the voice and the PowerPoint presentation. I don't know if I can go ahead and share since I am not a co-host. Let me try and see if I can do that. I hope you can see my screen. Yes. Hello, Malik, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, all right. So I think we are good to go. A very good afternoon to afternoon here in West Africa, Ghana, but I'm sure it is evening at your end. Malik, if I'm right, kindly correct me if I'm wrong. It's about 8:15 at your end. Is that correct?
Yes, actually 8:20 p.m.
8:20.
Yes, please.
All right, amazing.
And we want to enjoy your presentation.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm super excited to be here. Once again, as Malik rightly said, my name is Kwesi Anamoah Baiden, and it is always an honor to be able to come on platforms like this to share some very key information about things that concern myself, and it concerns you as well when it comes to talking about financial success. I believe as human beings, you cannot really do anything without finance. When you wake up in the morning and you need to eat, you definitely need money to be able to purchase some of these items. As I can tell you, are all in school, you need money to pay school fees and all of that. And some of you are also working, so definitely you earn some kind of income to make some kind of expenditure. So when it comes to finances, this is something that concerns myself and it concerns yourself as well. So we at Republic Investments are always excited to be called upon on opportunities like this, to be able to share an impact. And I believe this is going to be a very interactive session for all of us. I crave your full participation, everybody here on this platform on this financial seminar on the theme Keys to Financial Success. So to be sure everybody is here, to be sure everybody can hear me, can see me, and all of that. I don't know, Malik, do I have access to view the chats? Okay, let's see if I can do this. I want to just be sure everybody is on here. So if you can just go to your chat and just let me know your name, where you are, which country you currently live in, and where you are actually coming from. I'll just like to get a bit interactive before we start. So if everybody can just go to the chat and just put in your name, where you live, which country you live in currently. So if you live in China, you just put in China. If it's Beijing, you put in Beijing, and which country you are from. So if you are from Ghana, you put it there. If you are from China, you put it there. I just want us to get interactive just before we start, because this is going to be something we are all going to learn from each other, and it's going to be a very interactive session. So can we have some post on the chat? Everybody just go to your chat and just put in something. Okay, so we have Ebenezer Jeke. He's a colleague of mine from Ghana. We have Collins, who is in China. Kindly, let's get them coming through. Let's get some interaction on the pages just before we get started, so I know everybody can hear me clearly just before we go ahead. So we have Malik, China. We have Victor, China as well. Okay, we have Asare Francis from China, Delali. Oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. We have Mavis in China as well. So I believe everybody is, we have Juliana in China, Mame, Ghana as well. We have, please forgive me if I don't get your name correctly, but we have Agwalikum. Is that correct? Agwalikum. I hope I got your name right. So guys, I'm super excited to be able to take over from here once I know everybody is tuned in and everybody is ready to receive the information we have, because this is going to be interactive. So we'll be using the chat column a lot. So if I ask any question, please quickly go to your chat and just put in the answers so that we can make this as interactive as possible. So I'll be speaking on the theme Keys to Financial Success. Taking charge of your financial life, building your financial wealth, and then protecting your financial wealth as well. I believe all of these are intertwined. They are things that you can't speak about one and leave the other. And I'm just going to try and blend each of them so that we can get a very good understanding of all of this. I'm sure you are ready to take notes as well. If I'm moving too fast, please feel free to draw my attention so that I can slow down, and then everybody will be able to get everything that I'm speaking about. So just for us to begin, I would like to give a little bit overview about my company. As Malik rightly said, I'm the deputy head in charge of marketing and finance at Republic Investments, and Republic Investments is a company in Ghana. It's an investment banking company, and we are definitely licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as the National Pensions Regulatory Authority to perform pension fund management services. So Republic Investments, I like to call it a one-stop shop for all your investment needs. So if you're looking for anything towards investments, be it you want to be a part owner of a company on a stock exchange, you want to have some collective investment schemes, you want to have some fixed term investments. I'll go into all of these as we go ahead. Any form of investments that you are looking for, Republic Investments is strategically positioned to be able to assist you in all your financial needs as well. So how is the structure of the company like? The mother company is Republic Bank, and we have Republic Investments as a wholly owned subsidiary of Republic Bank, and we have Republic Securities, which is a subsidiary of Republic Investments. They are in charge of buying and selling securities on the stock market. So to make it very simple, if there's a company, let's say Malik has opened a company, and this company is a publicly traded company on the stock exchange, and you want to own part of his company, you come to Republic Securities, and they are going to assist you to be able to own some of the shares of Malik's company. So that is what Republic Securities is all about. And then we also have a subsidiary, which is Republic Boafo, which is the microfinance section of what we have. So Republic Investments, we offer fund management services, brokerage services, asset management services, as well as financial advisory services. I'm not going to go too deep into this because I know today is about keys of financial success. So I just want to give you a background of what the company is all about just before we go into the meat of today's discussion. So there are various reasons why we preach investment when we go out there. And investment is something that is very unique because it provides for everything. You are able to provide income to meet your recurrent expenditure. So if you are investing, you are able to put down money to be able to assist you to meet your expenditure. Maybe in future, you have a major purchase you want to do. You want to buy that brand new car you've been eyeing all these years. Definitely, you need to start accumulating funds to help you to be able to achieve that. Definitely education, personally for yourself or your children, you can definitely make investments for that purpose. Entrepreneurship, you want to start a business, but you don't have the capital. You can actually have a very solid investment plan to put down money over a given period of time so that you can come up with that seed capital that you need for your business, and you can actually start that business towards your goal of being an entrepreneur. And these are not exhaustive. There are various reasons, but these are just some of the reasons why we love to preach investment, and something that is very dear to my heart, and it comes to your retirement. Everybody wants to have a very comfortable retirement where they go home at the end of a long period of service and they're able to have some income that takes care of them in their old age. And this is something that I am very particular about, and it's something that is very important to all of us. So after talking about why we preach investments, I just want us to dive straight into taking charge of your financial life. Now, I love stories. I love stories a lot. So I'll be coming in with some level of stories from time to time. So I just want everybody to pay attention to the stories because I'll be asking questions and we'll be using the chat box as well. So we were having a discussion in the office. This is one of my first stories. And the discussion was very simple. Is earning income alone a guarantee to your financial success? Very simple question. If you can just go to the chat and put a simple yes or no. Is earning income alone a guarantee to financial success? Maybe you've landed a good job. Is that alone enough to achieving financial success? I can see everybody is saying no, no, no. Edward is saying no, Kakra is saying no, Mami is saying no. Amazing. So this leads me to my next question. We're having a discussion in the office and this thing came up and it's quite interesting, and I would just want to share. Somebody says it depends on the type of job. Is it the type of job, Malik? So if the job is really good and is paying you a lot of money, this is something that alone is enough for you to be financially successful. Okay, let's see about that. So we're having a discussion in the office, and what came up was there are two people in the office, same level. All of them are earning the same income. So if it's $1,000, each of them are earning $1,000. Why is it that at the end of, say, 5 years, one person becomes far more successful than the other person, and the other person is seriously neck deep in debt? He owes so much money, he's borrowing from everyone. They are all earning the same income, but one person at the end of 5 years becomes extremely successful, and the other person at the end of 5 years is, begging for money, asking everybody for money. His income does not meet his expenditure. Why is it so? It's very simple. One of the key things about taking charge of your financial life is what you actually do with the income that you earn. And I'm going to start by bringing a very classic example just before I go ahead with this. There was a very popular speaker. He was speaking at a financial seminar like I'm doing right now. And don't mind me, I love stories, so just allow me to continue with my stories. So he was speaking at a very amazing financial seminar, just like the one we are on right now. And he asked a very simple question. I just want to know, how many of us are earning some kind of income? If you are, just put there, yes, 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 yes. How many of us are earning some kind of income? Maybe you are working while schooling. Maybe your parents own a business and you are part of the job. Maybe you already have a job. You are earning some kind of allowances. If you earn some kind of income, just put there, yes, just so that I know the audience I'm speaking to, and I'll be able to go ahead with my example. So Edward says yes. If you are earning some kind of income, allowances, anything that comes to you in the form of income, just put there yes. If you are not, you can also just put there no. All right, all right. So looks like everybody here is earning some kind of income. So I can go ahead with my example. So there was a very big financial seminar, just like the one we are on right now. And the speaker made a very simple analogy. Now, I want to ask everybody who is earning some kind of income, if your income, okay, is it enough for you right now? Is your income enough for you right now? Now, let's say maybe it is, maybe it's not. If that income you are earning is to be doubled for you today, would that make things better? If your income today, somebody says not at all, my income is not enough. Okay, so if your income right now, the amount you are earning, if it was to be doubled today, is it going to make things better for you? If you have just double. So if you're earning 100 cedis or $100 and your income is doubled, is it going to make things better for you? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? I can see people are still responding to the first one. The income is not at all, not at all. No, no, no. So I'm just asking what you are earning right now. If it was to be doubled for you, is it going to make things better for you? Yes or no? Oh, yes. Somebody says yes. If my income is doubled, things will be better. So basically, this is what happened. The speaker said to the large crowd, somebody says, yes, definitely. If my income is doubled right now, I'll be excited. Things will be done well for me. That's coming from Mame. So this is what happened. The speaker asked everybody in the crowd, all of you are saying that, oh, if your income is doubled, things will be better off for you. So he asked everybody, put down the amount you are earning right now. Just put down the amount you are earning right now. So everybody took a little piece of paper and put down the amount they were earning. And I mean, the ushers went around and picked everybody's paper and brought it to the front. Now, this is what happened. There was somebody in the room who was earning, let's say, $100 US. And this person was saying that, look, if my income is to be doubled today, things will be better off for me. So he just wants $200 US and things will be better for him. Now, the highest person in the room was earning not $100 US, not $1,000 US. He was earning over $100,000 US every month. And his salary was still not enough for him. So he was saying that, look, if my $100,000 US is to be doubled for me today, things are going to be better for me. And it was strange because the crowd was like, wow, somebody is earning just $100 US and is saying if my income is doubled, I'll be better off. Another person is saying, I'm earning $100,000 US. My income is not enough for me. So if this income is doubled, things are going to be better off for me. I'm sure you guys have seen where I'm going with this particular story. It's not really about the amount of money you are earning, but it goes to say it's really about what you do with the income that you are earning. And that is what we are going to speak about today. So what are you going to do with the income that you earn? Now, as you can see on your screen, every amount of income, no matter how little, this is one of the major keys to creating wealth for yourself. And it is simply to invest a minimum amount of 10% of all you earn. And this is definitely the beginning of wealth creation. So no matter how small your income is, what you do with that income over time is what is going to separate you from the rest. Now, what is investment all about? Investment is simply putting away a sum of money for a given period of time. So a specific sum of money for a given period of time. And if you allow time to work on your income, what is going to happen for you is that you are going to earn an interest on your money. So very key elements. Investment, number one, putting away a specific amount of money. Number two, allowing time to work on that money. And number three, that's number three, is earning an interest on the income that you've put away. And that is very key for investment. So investment simply says put away an amount of money, allow time to work on that money, and then you earn an interest. And this is the foundation, is actually the beginning, the genesis for all wealth creation. So no matter the kind of income you earn, as you grow older, as you gain employment in bigger companies, your income increases, but always make sure that a minimum, so if you have room in your income and you can do more than 10%, please go ahead and do that, because this is definitely going to be the genesis and the beginning of creating wealth for yourself. Now, I'm going to share with you something that is completely amazing. And before I can do that, I need to quote this for building your financial wealth from a very famous person. We all know him, known as Albert Einstein. Now, this is what happens when you are consistent with your investment over a given period of time. Now, Albert Einstein, very popular person, simply states that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, and he who understands it earns it. And if you don't understand it, you are definitely going to pay for it. So this is a statement by Albert Einstein, and I'm going to explain why Albert simply states this. So compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Why is it the eighth wonder of the world? And he who understands it earns it. And if you don't understand compound interest, you are definitely going to pay for it. And I'm going to explain why Albert Einstein says this in a moment. Now on your screen, I'm going to share with you something we call the power of a planned investment. And now this is so important simply because if you are earning money and you are saving that minimum 10%, and you are putting that minimum 10% into a normal savings account, or you are putting it under your pillow, I just want to show you the level of harm you are doing to yourself. Because according to Albert Einstein, if you don't understand compound interest, you are rather going to pay for it dearly. But those who understand it are those who are going to earn it. So on your screen right now is an example of someone who is just putting away $100 US, let's say an assumed amount. The person has got a very good return on investment on US dollars, earning about 10%. I mean, this is extremely good for US dollars, earning about 10% on the dollar. That is an extremely good investment. Now, this is what happens to the individual over time. $100 US, very small amount. If you are putting down $100 US monthly from the income that you earn, this is what happens. At the end of 12 months in the first year, you would have saved just about $1,200 US. Now, you notice that the interest component that you have earned is just about $56 US, and your net worth at the end of the period becomes $1,256 US. Not much money, not at all. But this is where it gets interesting with compounding interest. As you allow time to work on this, you allow your minimum 10% of the amount you have to continue to come in consistently. at the end of 5 years, if you were just saving the money and putting the money at home, you would have just saved $6,000. Now, your interest component at the end of 5 years is $1,700, and you have a total amount of 7,000. I believe your bank account is starting to look very interesting at this point in time. Now, after 10 years, what you notice is that the interest component is catching up to your principal, because at the end of 10 years, the actual money that you have saved is 12,000. This is if you are not investing. But if you were investing this money over that 10-year period, your interest income is $8,000. It's catching up very close to the amount of money you are saving, and your total balance in your bank account is $20,000. Now, see what happens at the end of 15 years. Your savings is $18,000. That is your savings. Now, your interest component is far more than the amount you are saving. I'm sure you've seen why Albert was saying compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. If I was just saving this money and putting it under my pillow or keeping it at home, not earning any interest for me, I would have just had $18,000 at the end of 15 years. But just for the fact that I'm investing my money, I have an interest component of $23,000, which far outweighs the actual money that I have saved of $18,000. And that gives you a total amount of $41,000 at the end of 15 years. So in 20 years' time, if you look at your age right now, and you give yourself the next 20 years to save a minimum amount, say $100, if you were just saving, that's $24,000. But if you were investing, you have more than double the amount you have saving in just interest alone. And that's $51,000. And this is what having a planned investment over time to build your financial wealth can actually do for you. Let's make things a bit interesting and increase the amount to $200. For $200 at the end of 20 years, you would have saved just $48,000, but you have an interest component of over $100,000. I'm sure by now you are picturing the amount of vacations you can take just by consistently saving an amount of $200 every single month. This is what a planned investment can definitely do for you. To make things even a bit more interesting over time, let's say you had the income to support $500 in savings every single month. First year, $6,000 in savings, very small interest, $282 coming into your account. But being consistent with such an investment over time, at the end of 20 years, you would have saved just $120,000, but your interest component is over $200,000. And this is definitely what having a planned investment can actually do for you. I'm sure you agree with me at this point that if you actually have a structured investment, creating wealth for yourself as an individual is just a choice away. All you have to do as an individual is to decide to set away a sum of your income every single month towards an investment, and you will definitely reap the returns over time, because becoming financially successful is simply a choice of what you do with the income that you earn, and that is going to set you apart from people who do not have any plan for their investment. So this is what a planned investment can definitely do for you. And I'm sure now you agree with Albert Einstein, why he says compounding interest is definitely the 8th wonder of the world. So moving on, I would like to basically introduce you to some of the products we have right here in Ghana, where we have so many people who have been able to follow this very secured path to creating financial freedom for themselves and creating wealth for themselves through investment. And one of these products, which is worthy of mention, is actually, I mean, there are so many investment products out there, but I would just like to introduce you one of them, which we have right here in Ghana, known as the Republic Unit Trust. Basically, this is the first collective investment scheme that was ever established right here in Ghana. And this collective investment scheme has run for over 27 years right here in Ghana, and it is still moving on very, very strong. Now, this is a fund that invests into very safe money market instruments. We are going into instruments like Government of Ghana Treasury bills. These are instruments issued by the Central Bank of Ghana. We have fixed deposit investment, and they are basically safe investments for anyone who is looking at putting their money in an instrument where their principal is secured and protected, and they are going to earn an interest which is very competitive as against the basic benchmark in the country. Now, this product has been able to serve our customers since its inception by providing that needed compounding interest on their investment over time. And we've had customers who have been investing well over 20 years, 25 years, and they have definitely enjoyed the return of their investment over time. Now, the unit trust being a collective investment scheme, which simply means we are pooling resources together. So you are investing, I'm investing, other individuals, other companies, other institutions are all putting their money together towards a particular fund. Now, this allows the fund to be able to have a huge capital base. As we speak to you currently, the fund has well over 300 million Ghana cedis in funds under management. And this puts us in a very good position to be able to negotiate for higher returns on investment when we go onto the market than if you, the individual, had gone to the market on your own to invest. So basically, this is how the Republic Unit Trust works. Very flexible investment, whereby, I mean, investment is good. Sometimes you have a very good plan. You want to invest for the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but emergencies do happen. And as and when these emergencies do come into play, the unit trust allows you to be able to have access to your funds, whereby you can be able to sort out these emergencies that do happen. So it provides a lot of high liquidity. It doesn't come with any tax on your interest. So these are tax-free returns. You can definitely use your investment to secure a mortgage facility. If you're interested in buying a home right here in Ghana, you can use your investment to secure a mortgage facility with the bank. And I mean, it's an investment that allows you to start with a very minimal amount. You know, there's a notion out there where people think you need a lot of money to start investment, but actually with as low as 50 Ghana cedis, converting this to US dollars is somewhere around, let's say, $1 or $2 or so. You can definitely have your Republic Unit Trust account. So these are some of the products that we have. We have other collective investment schemes like the Real Estate Investment Trust, which is investing onto the real estate sector right here in Ghana. We have the Republic Equity Trust, which is investing onto the stock market right here in Ghana as well. And we also have the Future Plan, which is a balanced fund investing both onto the money market, just like the unit trust, and then it is also investing onto the money market. So just to give you some example of some products that have been able to assist clients to be able to take advantage of this compounding nature, we just discussed about investments, and then we move on to the next topic, which we will be discussing, which is protecting your financial wealth. So I know I've moved very fast about taking charge of your financial life. I know I've also gone about how you can actually grow your financial wealth. And I also want to touch on protecting your financial wealth. Now, to help me do this, I'm going to take an extract from a very important book I read. And this book, for those of you who have read it, let me see if I can pull the chat box. Okay, the chat box is here. For those of you who have read this book, I'm going to pull the book out. If you've read this book, just say yes. And if you haven't, please, once we are done with this, try your best to get your hands on this book, because this book is an authority when it comes to taking charge of your financial wealth. It provides you with sound financial principles in creating wealth. It also provides you with very sound financial principles on how you can keep your wealth and protect it from loss. And there are so many other financial keys in this particular book. And if you get your chance on this book, please try and make sure you read its content. So I'm going to display the book, and if you've read the book, just put there yes. If you haven't yet, please try and get this book. So I'm going to pull up the book right away. How many of us have seen this book anywhere, or you've heard of it? The Richest Man in Babylon, written by George S. Clason. If you have, just put a yes in the chat box. If you haven't, please try as much as possible and get your hands on this. So Kakra K says no, she has not. Is there anyone who has ever seen or heard of this book? All right, so I'm going to play a very short extract, and this is talking about the 5 laws of money. Now, I'm going to give you the background of this story so that you can get what the narrator is trying to say in this story just before we go ahead. So this is what the background of the story is all about. Now, there was the richest man in Babylon who had all the wealth you can imagine, all the money you can imagine. Now, he was thinking about how he was going to allow his son to take over his wealth. So he decided to do something that most rich people would not do, where he decided to allow his son to go into the world and prove himself with some money that he gave him, that he can be able to take care of his money. He's not going to lose the money, and he's rather going to invest this money, turn it around, and earn some kind of income. So he gave his son some money and asked him to go into the world, invest this money, live his life for 10 years, and after 10 years, he comes back to account for this wealth. And I don't want to take too much from the story, so I'm going to play a very short audio to speak about protecting your financial wealth. And then we'll come back and then we'll dissect everything that we've heard one by one on the 5 laws of money. They call it gold because this book is a very ancient book. And then we'll be able to understand fully some of the laws that govern financial wealth and how we can protect our money from loss. So I'm going to go ahead and play this audio, and kindly let me know if you can hear the audio, please. If you can hear the audio, just put there a yes in the chat box so I know that you can hear the audio.
When I was but a lad, my master and myself had tarried long into the night in the palace of NUGS. I had helped my master bring great bundles of fine rugs, each one to be tried by NUGS until his choice of colors was satisfied. At last he was well pleased, and commanded us to sit with him and to drink a rare vintage, odorous to the nostrils and most warming to my stomach, which was unaccustomed to such a drink. Then did he tell us this tale of the great wisdom of Arcad, his father, even as I shall tell it to you. In Babylon, it is the custom, as you know, that the sons of wealthy fathers live with their parents in expectation of inheriting the estate. Arcad did not approve of this custom. Therefore, when NUGS reached the man's estate, he sent for the young man and addressed him. "My son, it is my desire that thou succeed to my estate. Thou must, however, first prove that thou art capable of wisely handling it. Therefore, I wish that thou go out into the world and show thy ability both to acquire gold and to make thyself respected among men. To start thee well, I will give thee 2 things of which I myself was denied when I started as a poor youth to build up a fortune. First, I give thee this bag of gold. If thou use it wisely, it will be the basis of thy future success. Second, I give thee this clay tablet upon which is carved the 5 laws of gold. If thou dost but interpret them in thy own acts, they shall bring thee competence and security. 10 years from this day, come thou back to the house of thy father and give account of thyself. If thou prove worthy, I will then make thee the heir to my estate. Otherwise, I will give it to the priests that they may barter for my soul the kind consideration of the gods." So NUGS went forth to make his own way, taking his bag of gold, the clay tablet carefully wrapped in silken cloth, his slave, and the horses upon which they rode. The 10 years passed, and NUGS, as he had agreed, returned to the house of his father, who provided a great feast in his honor, to which he invited many friends and relatives. After the feast was over, the father and mother mounted their throne-like seats at one side of the great hall, and NUGS stood before them to give an account of himself as he had promised his father. It was evening. The room was hazy with smoke from the wicks of the oil lamps that but dimly lighted it. Slaves in white woven jackets and tunics fanned the humid air rhythmically with long-stemmed palm leaves. A stately dignity colored the scene. The wife of NUGS and his 2 young sons, with friends and other members of the family, sat upon rugs behind him, eager listeners. "My father," he began deferentially, "I bow before thy wisdom. 10 years ago, when I stood at the gates of manhood, thou bade me go forth and become a man among men, instead of remaining a vassal to thy fortune. Thou gave me liberally of thy gold. Thou gave me liberally of thy wisdom. Of the gold, alas, I must admit of a disastrous handling. It fled indeed from my inexperienced hands, even as a wild hare flees at the first opportunity from the youth who captures it." The father smiled indulgently. "Continue, my son. Thy tale interests me in all its details." I decided to go to Nineveh, as it was a growing city, believing that I might find there opportunities. I joined a caravan, and among its members made numerous friends. 2 well-spoken men who had a most beautiful white horse, as fleet as the wind, were among these. As we journeyed, they told me in confidence that in Nineveh was a wealthy man who owned a horse so swift that it had never been beaten. Its owner believed that no horse living could run with greater speed. Therefore, would he wager any sum, however large, that his horse could outspeed any horse in all Babylonia. Compared to their horse, so my friend said, it was but a lumbering ass that could be beaten with ease. They offered, as a great favor, to permit me to join them in a wager. I was quite carried away with the plan. Our horse was badly beaten, and I lost much of my gold. The father laughed. Later, I discovered that this was a deceitful plan of these men, and they constantly journeyed with caravans seeking victims. You see, the man in Nineveh was their partner and shared with them the bets he won. This shrewd deceit taught me my first lesson in looking out for myself. I was soon to learn another, equally bitter. In the caravan was another young man with whom I became quite friendly. He was the son of wealthy parents and, like myself, journeying to Nineveh to find a suitable location. Not long after our arrival, he told me that a merchant had died, and his shop with its rich merchandise and patronage could be secured at a paltry price. Saying that we would be equal partners, but first he must return to Babylon to secure his gold, he prevailed upon me to purchase the stock with my gold, agreeing that his would be used later to carry on our venture. He long delayed the trip to Babylon, proving in the meantime to be an unwise buyer and a foolish spender. I finally put him out, but not before the business had deteriorated to where we had only unsaleable goods and no gold to buy other goods. I sacrificed what was left to an Israelite for a pitiful sum. Soon there followed, I tell you, my father, bitter days. I sought employment and found it not, for I was without trade or training that would enable me to earn. I sold my horses, I sold my slave, I sold my extra robes that I might have food and a place to sleep, but each day grim want crouched closer. But in those bitter days, I remembered thy confidence in me, my father. Thou hadst sent me forth to become a man, and this I was determined to accomplish. The mother buried her face and wept softly. At this time I bethought me of the table thou had given to me, upon which thou had carved the 5 laws of gold. Thereupon I read most carefully thy words of wisdom, and realized that had I but sought wisdom first, my gold would not have been lost to me. I learned by heart each law, and determined that when once more the goddess of good fortune smiled upon me, I would be guided by the wisdom of age, and not by the inexperience of youth. For the benefit of you who are seated here this night, I will read the wisdom of my father as engraved upon the clay tablet which he gave to me 10 years ago. The 5 laws of gold. 1. Gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. 2. Gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. 3. Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling. 4. Gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar, or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. 5. Gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investment. These are the 5.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that audio just as much as I did. And if you want that full book, please try and get yourself a copy of The Richest Man in Babylon. It's an excellent book speaking about finance, and these are principles that have been tried and tested over the ages, and they work to perfection. So I'm going to talk about what he just spoke about, and I'm sure you heard from his narrative that his father gave him some money, and in addition to the money the father gave him, the father also gave him the 5 laws of gold. Now, what did the young man do? He went out into the world and he decided to use his own wits and his own wisdom to try and turn the father's money around so he can make the dad proud at the end of 10 years when he was supposed to come and account for his action. What did he do? He lost everything. He lost all his dad's money, and now he ended up selling the horses. He ended up selling everything that he had, that the father had given him to go out into the world. Now, how did he come out of such a very bad and terrible situation? He went back to read the 5 laws of money that his father gave him, and that is what he used to turn his fortunes around. And when you continue to read that particular chapter, is a very touching chapter, and I entreat each and every person here as one of the books I'm going to recommend to you to get yourself a copy of The Richest Man in Babylon. So I'm going to take the 5 laws and I'm going to let us break it down so we can get to understand these very important principles that have been able to stand the test of time. And I can see somebody has written, I've read this book and it's one of the best basic financial tips. Thank you very much for that. So the first law of gold, you can take a screenshot of this, and it says gold cometh gladly. So it comes gladly and in increasing quantity to anyone who will put but not less than 1/10. So that's 10% of his earnings to create an estate for his future and his family. The simple meaning about this is money comes to those who save. I know we've heard this saying over and over and over again, little drops of water make a mighty ocean. It's so simple. We've heard it so many times, but how many of us practice it? If you save, money comes to those who save. And that is the first law and the first principle about money. Now, moving on to the second one, it says that your money would labor for you diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it a profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field. What that second law simply means is that money multiplies itself for those who invest it. We've taken a lot of time to speak about the key importance of investment and how this can be able to create wealth for you as an individual. And that is what the second law of gold says. So yes, saving is good, but if you need to take saving a little step higher, then you have to invest. So if you are just saving your money without investing, number one, you are not even protecting that money, because anytime there is inflation, you are going to lose the purchasing power of your savings. So if you are an individual who is diligent in your savings, you are putting down your savings, once you've been able to nurture that habit of savings, you need to go the step further into an investment whereby the money you are putting down for investment is going to multiply itself for you. And that is a very key principle, and it is the second law about money. So first law is save money. So money comes gladly to those who save money. And number two, money multiplies for those who invest it. Now, what kind of investments are we talking about? You heard the narrative speak about those who put their money, he went to put his money first to bet on a horse race, and he lost badly because the people actually lied to him. And I mean, they actually shared the profits with the one in which they schemed for him to lose his money. So the third law is just speaking to us about gold that clings to the protection of the cautious owner who invested under the advice of wise men who are wise in the handling of that money. So a simple interpretation is that money stays with the person who entrusts it to wise people. I mean, what you realize in this day and age is that a lot of people are providing advice on finance when they don't really have the expertise or the technical know-how about some of the instruments to which they are advising people on. Most of the time, we get money and we ask people who haven't really been successful about managing money for advice. Hey, simply because probably maybe they are family or they are people who are close to us. And yes, we trust them in other fields, but they don't have the expertise to give you sound advice on what you are going to use your money for. So if you really want to put your money to the best of use, seek advice. Probably get an investment advisor or somebody who is skilled in the area to which you want to invest your money. So if you definitely want to invest into the real estate sector, you are going to speak to a real estate broker or somebody who is into real estate, and you're not going to speak to a mechanical engineer. So if you have a friend who is a mechanical engineer, you trust the person, it doesn't mean that person can give you sound advice on real estate investment. So if you need to do any form of investment, please seek advice from those who have the knowledge, okay, about the field to which you are going into, and they will be able to advise you accordingly so that you can protect your money against loss. And that is very, very important when it comes to investing. So always seek the advice of an investment advisor when you are going to place your investment in any instrument where they have the expertise and the technical know-how to be able to guide you towards that investment so you don't lose your money. So that is what the third law is saying, that money will stay with the person who entrusts it to wise people. Now I'm going to go ahead with the fourth law of money, which simply says that your money will slip away from you. Money slips away, or gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar, or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. So a simple interpretation for this is saying money is lost when invested in things which you are not familiar. I think with the upsurge of social media, everybody there is speaking about investing in FX. That's the foreign exchange market. You see a lot of posts on Instagram. You see a lot of posts. Even when you are browsing, it pops up, invest in FX, invest with this company. You can quickly make some money. Somebody says, I bought this car by investing into FX trading, and FX trading brought me this money. Somebody says, I mean, there are so many kind of people bringing about so many kind of investments that you particularly do not have much knowledge on. Now, what happens? There are so many people who just go to one foreign exchange trading seminar, just one, and they believe they are experts. What do? They sign up with an FX trading account. They put in a lot of dollars on that account, and within a few seconds, a few hours, a few days, a few weeks, they lose all the money. So this law is simply trying to guide everybody, and is simply stating that if you do not have that knowledge, or you are not familiar with the area to which you are going to invest in, please do not put your money there. Because as soon as you put your money there without any advice or anybody guiding you, you are going to lose that money. And I see this happening all the time. There are always investment schemes that are going to come up. People don't really understand what this, that investment scheme is all about. People come up with all manner of very juicy offers, and once you are not familiar with it, but it sounds so juicy, before you realize, you put your money in there and then you lose your money. This is the fourth law of protecting your income, and it is something that everybody must be very, very, very cautious of, which says that your money will slip away from you, especially if you invest it in businesses or purposes with which you are not familiar in, or which are not approved by those who are skilled in keeping money. And we need to be very cautious of some of these investments out there in protecting our wealth. Now, the final law of money says that gold will definitely flee from the man, or money will flee from the man who forces it to impossible earnings, or who, followed the alluring advice of tricksters or schemers, or who trust it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investment. The rule of thumb simply states that if it is too good to be true, then definitely it must be too good to be true. And the simple interpretation of this is money is lost as fast. Okay, you lose it at a fast rate by pursuing get-rich-quick schemes. You see, I spoke to you earlier on of what investment is all about. And investment is simply putting away a sum of money over a given period of time. You need to have patience to gradually grow your money. So if you have these get-rich-quick schemes, these investments, putting money today, tomorrow you are earning 100%, do this, always know that the higher the risk, the higher the reward. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. So if you are putting your money into some of these schemes where you don't have even the technical knowledge about what they are actually investing into, you don't understand it, but because it sounds so good to be true, you think you can just put your money in there and quickly turn it around and make a fortune. This is the fifth law of gold, or the fifth law of money. And if you take these laws into account, is going to go a long way to help you to protect the income that you are creating for your financial future. So this is the 5th law of gold, and there are 5 of them. I hope you took screenshots of them. If not, I'll share them with the president later on, so you can go through them one by one and get to understand what each of them entails, because they are going to serve as the guiding principle that is going to guide your money or your wealth that you are creating for yourself over time. And this is very, very, very important. So simply to conclude on this, on protecting your financial wealth, abiding by these sound financial principles, which are the 5 laws of money, is a sure way of protecting your financial wealth. Now, today marks the 13th of February 2021, and tomorrow marks a very special day. And I'm sure most of you know what day it is tomorrow. Does anybody know what is happening tomorrow? Maybe you can post it in the chat. Let me know if everybody is still following what is happening tomorrow. What is happening on the 14th of February? Can anybody tell me? Hey, Malik says we don't know. Hey, Malik. Okay, so Zakio says Val's Day. All right. Amazing. So Val's Day is happening tomorrow, and I know Malik asked me to speak on 3 topics. That is taking charge of your financial life, that is building your financial wealth, as well as protecting your financial wealth. But since tomorrow is Val's Day, I decided to give a bonus topic, which I would love to talk on, because aside building your wealth, creating your wealth, I'm going to give this bonus topic as a Val's Day gift to everybody who has been able to tune in to this particular seminar. And it is something that is going to be very important for all of us growing up, because some way or another, we tend to find ourselves in a situation where most people do not have a very good plan of how to come out of. And people live in this particular issue I'm talking about for many, many, many years. And sometimes it brings a lot of disgrace. It brings a lot of issues, a lot of, some people go through depression, just going through what I'm about to talk about. And I believe since we are speaking about finance, it is very important I chip in this bonus topic. So Malik, I'm giving you a bonus topic as a Val's Day gift to the entire NUGS team in China. And this is how to come out of debt. So we are speaking about finance, and definitely some way or another, debt seems to creep in from time to time. Maybe you borrow money from a friend, and then you don't finish paying, but then you still need money. You go and borrow from another person. You don't finish paying, you still need money. You go and borrow from another person. How can one actually have a very good plan to come out of debt, since we are talking about creating wealth for yourself as an individual? And I'm going to try and provide you with some guidelines. Now, these elements I'm speaking about are not cast in stone, but they are definitely going to give you, oh, very good. Somebody has posted the PDF copy of The Richest Man in Babylon. That is amazing. So these laws are not cast in stone, but they are actually going to give you a very sound guiding principle on, if you find yourself in such a situation, how you can actually come out of it. And I believe it's very important for us to discuss how to come out of wealth, so that you can always have enough wealth for yourself as an individual. So this is a bonus topic I'm going to talk on, and I hope it impacts you, and it also serves as something that can actually guide you moving forward. Okay, so moving on, how to come out of debt. Definitely, this is a principle. Try as much as possible not to spend more than you earn. Now, in addition to that, I just want you to have this picture in your mind, that any debt that you have, I think I need to correct this. There's a little mistake there, but any debt that you have, treat it as your enemy, and you need to fight it with all that you can, and you do not also allow it to grow. Now, don't get me wrong. We have good debt and we have bad debt. Sometimes in running a business, you need to borrow money to be able to grow and be successful. So I'm not talking about the good debt, but you can even use the principle I'm about to share with you to take yourself out of that debt position. But if you have any debt as an individual, there's a very wise saying that says a person who does not pay his debt has no respect for himself or herself. So if you have any debt and you choose not to pay, please make sure you pay your debt to maintain your dignity and your respect. And I'm going to give you one of the sound guiding principles that everybody can actually use to come out of debt if you are in debt, and also to create wealth for yourself as an individual. And I don't know if you've heard of the 10-20-70 rule. This rule is 10%, 20%, and then 70%. So it's called the 10-20-70% rule. Now, basically, what this rule simply states is that we've spoken about investing a minimum of 10% of your income. So if you are in any debt situation right now, or maybe in future, you have some kind of debt situation that is going to come your way, this is how you can actually get yourself out of that debt situation. And I just want you to pay very close attention to what I'm coming to discuss with you. So maybe you owe some money. You owe about 3 or 4 people. It is very important for you to have a meeting with these people to let them know that, look, I know I've been owing you for a long time. I'm not able to pay. For all you know, I haven't paid you for some time now, but I've decided to go with a plan and I'm going to pay you accordingly. Now, what you are going to do is that every income that you are going to earn, as we said, a minimum of 10% must be kept for yourself to provide for your future. That is your investment. Don't play with this 10%. So with your income, you're going to make sure that you are going to invest 10% for yourself as an individual. Now, you're going to use 70% of your expenditure to take care of 70% of your income to take care of all your expenditure. So somebody was saying, we asked a very simple question. Is all the money you earn yours to keep? Simple question. If you have an income, let's say $1,000 US, is all that 1,000 yours to keep? Let's see in the chat box. Do you think when you earn $1,000 US, if that is your income, all that money is yours to keep? If you think that is yours to keep, just put there in the chat box. Put there in the chat box. Let me know if what you think about this. If $1,000 is your income, is all that money belonging to you? Is it your money? Oh, Edward says no, it's not your money. That's good. Any other question? If you earn $1,000, is all that money for you? Oh, Aben says no. I think everybody is saying no. Okay, so basically this is it. If you earn $1,000 US, although it is your income, there are so many things you have to use the money for which doesn't belong to you. So although you are earning some income, part of that income does not belong to you because you need to buy food to eat. You need to pay for your utilities. You need to water, electricity, rent. So although you are earning income, that income does not belong to you because there is so much you need to spend money on. If you have children, you need to pay school fees and all of that. Now, this principle states that yes, we know that there are so many things that you have to spend your money on, but you need to prioritize the things you are going to spend your money on. Which is most important, which is least important. So you are going to live within your means and only spend 70% of your income on expenditure. In the beginning, it's going to be difficult, but if you allow time to work on it, trust me, this is going to be one of the guarantees to take yourself out of debt. Now, 20%, which is the final part of your income, must be used to settle all your debts. And you need to share this 20% amongst all your debts and pay them consistently. Now, this is a very sound principle for paying debt, and it's something that you can use to pay off all your debt and also have enough money that you are saving and investing for yourself, and you can actually have a very sound financial future for yourself once you follow this very simple principle of 10, 20, 70. There are so many people who are in debt, they are not able to pay the debt. At the same time, all the income that they earn, they use it on expenditure, and they don't have any savings for themselves. So if you actually follow this very sound principle of 10, 20, 70, it's going to go a long way to help you to create wealth for yourself as an individual. At the same time, you pay off all your debt, and you also meet all your obligations in expenditure. And this is basically a bonus topic I chipped in for everybody. Please put this in mind. If you are not in debt, hooray, don't go into debt. But as I said, we have good debt and we have bad debt. If you find yourself in a very dire situation where you need to borrow, that is fine, it's part of life. But always, always, always make a plan to come out of debt so that you can be able to create more wealth for yourself. And this is what I wanted to add to it. So I just want to say at this point that there is never an ideal time to start an investment. The best time to have planted an oak tree, which is a saying by a wise man, was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. So if you don't have any investment, please make sure you plan your investment. You start today with the principles that we've discussed above, and then you can actually proceed to building a very solid financial wealth for yourself. So I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who was able to make it. Thank you to Malik for inviting me to be able to speak in this financial seminar. And I'm going to open this up to questions as well. So if there's anybody who something is on your mind and you want us to discuss, I'll leave it here for questions, and then Malik, you can take over. So any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Malik, I hope I have time to take some questions.
No, yes, please. Yes, please. So, Honorable Frank.
Yeah,
Francis.
I'm here.
Francis, yeah. So Francis will lead us through the question time. So if anybody has a question, maybe the person can just raise a hand. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Anamoah Baiden. I first said Biden because of I thought it was
Joe Biden.
But Joe Biden. In fact, you're really awesome. Like, you know, this is really interesting. Actually, I noticed some points about maybe I can just go on a review for those who maybe might miss something. We talked about he actually discussed these 4 particular topics with us: taking charge of our financial world, and then building our financial world, protecting our financial world. And the bonus topic was how to come out of debt. And it's really interesting on that one. And actually, we talked, he mentioned the investments, you know, taking the treasury bills and other stuff. And one thing I loved about the story of the richest man in Babylon, the 5 laws of gold. In fact, what I learned here is that we actually, before we can protect our financial world, we need to seek advice. And that is very, very important. Where this boy, actually, he forgot to seek advice from the 5 laws before he started life, and he lost everything. And he said, if he had read the 5 laws, he would be guided by the wisdom of age. That's really interesting. And so we are going to give the chance to our colleagues who are also listening. And this is some few points that I noted down, and I don't think maybe as we go on, as people ask questions, I don't know if I had really a question to give you, but maybe as time goes on, I will think about this and I put up a question. Now we'll give the chance to anybody who is also willing, or like, you know, to think deep and, let's say, come up with maybe a suggestion or maybe a question, contribution, whatever. Then we are here waiting, and I think Mr. Biden will help us. I'll call you Biden because you are You are the boss of the moment now.
I believe there's one question in the chat. Can I go ahead and take it, please?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right. So Sapon is asking, what specific risk are associated with investment after consulting the right person? So what specific risk are associated with investment after consulting with the right person? I believe this is an excellent question. And I mean, it's very subjective. Every investment has an element of risk associated with it. And it's up to you, the individual, to assess that level of risk if it is something that you can accept. So definitely, if you are consulting with the right person will definitely give you the good side about the investment, but they are also going to open up to let you know the risk associated with that particular kind of investment. So typical example, if you were consulting me to invest on the stock market, I mean, the stock market is an avenue where you can create huge wealth for yourself as an individual. But because of the speculative nature of the investment, I'm also going to let you know the kind of risk you have being associated on the stock market, whereby depending on the demand and supply on the stock market, for people who are going to buy such an investment or who are going to partake in such an instrument, that can actually lead you to some level of volatility, and that brings you to risk. So every investment has some level of risk associated with it. If you are going into a government issued investment, definitely these are investments with very, very low risk, and some of the risk associated with such an investment is interest rate risk. So you don't really have a risk of losing your principal, but you have a risk of losing the interest component. You have a risk of having the interest component of your investment being volatile. So for example, if the investment is giving you 15% at the time at which you started, probably when you are going into the investment at a later date, that investment might have the interest rate come down to probably 10%. So your principal is secured, but the interest component is going to vary. So every investment has its level of risk, and it is for you, the investor, to be able to assess your the gains from the investment as well as the risk associated with the investment, and then you can decide if you are comfortable with it and you want to go ahead with it as well. So I hope I've been able to answer your question. Sapon has come again with, aside money, what other things can you invest in? There are various investments out there. Investment is not just about finances, but if you read The Richest Man in Babylon and if you read other literature, they definitely say if you want to earn more money, you need to invest in yourself. So you need to invest in your ability to earn. So if you are a doctor, you can't just be a doctor, you need to specialize. And in specializing, by investing in yourself to become better at what you do, you are definitely going to raise your income earning potential, and you can also earn more money. So investment is not just about money. We spoke a lot about money today, but for an individual who wants to increase his earning capacity, that individual needs to invest in themselves and also increase the rate at which they earn. So there are various types of investment out there. I spoke about real estate, investing into the real estate market. There are so many investments out there. So it's up to you to decide which one suits your particular investment need after assessing your risk profile and all of that. Elvis says, I need your thoughts on cryptocurrency investment. Elvis, if I start on this right now, we might definitely not finish. I'll try and get your contact and maybe we can have more conversation on cryptocurrency later on. But it's a very volatile market. So if you're an individual who you can't stand the sight of losing money, don't go into cryptocurrency, because if you don't have the expertise for it, you can lose a lot of money with crypto, because it's basically a market that feeds on news. And I'm sure you people have realized in the past weeks, how many of us know Tesla, Elon Musk? anybody knows Tesla, the owner of the company Tesla that is producing electric vehicles? If you do, you can just put that in the chat box. I'm sure you are asking about cryptocurrency because Elon Musk has invested over $1 billion US of funds of Tesla into cryptocurrency because he says that is the future, and everybody is going crazy about it. And I mean, cryptocurrencies have had some of the biggest rises within the past week simply because of the action that Elon Musk took. And he even posted that Tesla wants to start accepting cryptocurrency if you want to purchase a vehicle from Tesla. So that has brought a lot of volatility on the market, with many cryptocurrency companies skyrocketing in terms of their value. But it's a very volatile market, and I think we can speak not on this forum to share more ideas on that as well. I think there's another question from Dam Shaw that says, as a student, what's the most appropriate investment commitment to make, please? Definitely as a student, you are investing in knowledge, so make sure you finish the school. I'm just cracking a joke, forgive me. But it's very important you finish what you started as a student in school. And as a student as well, you definitely have a lot of expenditures to make towards your education. So don't take your expenditure in school as something that you are stealing away from your wealth, because whatever you spend on in school is something that is contributing to the wealth of knowledge that you are getting as an individual. So don't feel bad for spending money in school, because whatever you are spending money on, the books you are buying, seminars you might have to attend, and all these things are things that are going to contribute to your wealth of knowledge to improve yourself and your skill as a student. But what you should feel bad about is sometimes as students, some students are very rich. They have a lot of money and they waste that money. And the most appropriate investment commitment for you to make is to assess the various investment opportunities you have available to yourself as a student. Seek expert advice in these investment instruments, and then the one that suits your profile as an investor. We have investors who are able to accept a lot of risk on their investment. We have other investors who are looking for very safe investment instruments to invest in. We have others who only have a limited time. So maybe you don't plan on investing for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, but you are planning on investing for just a few months or a few days. So you have to assess the various investment instruments you have available to you as a student, and then make a commitment to stick to one and build it over time. And once you have enough money, you'll be able to decide which next step you want to take. So I hope I've been able to answer your question as well. So if there's any further questions, kindly let me know, either in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. And then, Francis, are you helping me with the questions, or it was someone else?
I'm still here. I think you were speaking, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay, Zacchaeus has his hand raised.
Okay, Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus? I think his network is disturbing.
Okay, so I think Zacchaeus can type his question in the chat box. In case
Zacchaeus,
his network is not working.
Yeah, you can put your question in the chat box and we will read it out. Anybody with a question, you can put it in the chat box. I think it's more convenient out there.
Okay, so Francis, with your permission, whilst we wait for questions, in case anybody might want to contact us concerning some of the investment instruments we've discussed, whilst we are waiting for questions, I would like to go through some of our contact information. You can send a mail to investments@republicghana.com and we'll receive your email and respond to it. If you want to send an email to me directly, you can send it to kbaiden@republicghana.com. If you are interested in having any investment in Ghana, we'll be more than happy to take you through the procedure, the forms, and everything you need as well. So you can get in touch with me directly at kbaiden@republicghana.com, or you can send an email to our corporate email address, which is investments@republicghana.com. Our telephone numbers are shown on your screen as well. All of them work, so you can actually call any of them and it comes straight to the office. Now, if you want to get interactive on social media, our handle on Instagram is Republic Investments Ghana. So if you go to Instagram, Republic Investments Ghana, you can get in touch with us. Or if you want to get interactive on my personal Instagram handle, that is Baid Junior 17. So if you go to Instagram and you want to get interactive on Instagram, just go to Baid Junior 17 on Instagram and you'll be able to have access to me directly as well. So kindly follow our page on Instagram, Republic Investments Ghana, and we have some interesting posts that come up from time to time. So you can just follow our page on Instagram as well. So we'll continue with the questions. If anybody has any questions, please let them through. If it's not a question and it's a comment, please, you can also let your comments come through. So Francis, you can take it over.
So, hey, who's that? Hey, I'm having a program. Okay, Zacchaeus, I think he couldn't join because maybe he had a problem with his. All right, then. Okay, I think there's a chat. Yeah, Zacchaeus managed to put his question. Could you kindly comment on the e-commerce platform investments, and what is your take regarding to recent news on the Chai Mall e-commerce in Ghana? I wish you could also share your PPT here so that we can all download. Thanks. From Zacchaeus.
Okay, so Zacchaeus wants me to share my presentation here for download. I will give that to Malik. So I'm sure Malik can share with all the students. He wants me to comment on e-commerce platform investments and CHY Mall e-commerce in Ghana. CHY Mall e-commerce in Ghana is simply a network marketing company. And as a network marketing company, they have its ups and downs. It's not an investment company. So I know a lot of people try to market it as an investment company where you pay some money and you are going to earn some money based on activities that happen on your online e-commerce space where the company is going to handle the sales and all of that. Is purely a network marketing company. So it has nothing to do with investment. It's not an investment banking instrument. So they don't even have any regulators. That is one of the key things to look out for if you are doing an investment. You have to find out who are the regulators of such an investment. If the company does not have a regulator, I mean, CHY Mall is purely a network marketing company. So if you are an individual who is interested in that kind of business model, then you can partake in such a thing. It's not something I will recommend anyway, because network marketing has its own ups and downs, and it's purely based on I mean, the individual's ability to put in a lot of effort to earn. So as an investment banker, this is not an investment instrument, so I wouldn't want to put in a lot of light on that, but it's a network marketing company, and there are some people who are interested in that business, that kind of business model. And so if that is that individual, I mean, everybody is free to choose what they want to do once they are able to accept the level of risk associated with such an investment as well. So I hope, Zacchaeus, I've been able to answer you. And Miss would like to make a short contribution. That is up to the organizers of this financial forum to decide. So Francis, over to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Baiden. And Miss, could you please turn on the speaker? I think we'll give you some 3 minutes. Any contribution is allowed.
It's just 30 seconds or 1 minute is enough. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've really enjoyed your presentation. I just chanced on it, so I think I guess I came late, but I enjoyed it. So I actually like the book that you used for your presentation, and I have read it, and I will recommend it to everyone to just go through it. You talked about how to pay off our debt. And then I also want to chip in something small from the same book that, that says that we should not lend our investment. So as you are putting your investment aside, you have your future plans, and that becomes your fortune, right? So in this case, sometimes there are some friends or people that will come to you to lend them some money, and then you look nowhere, there's no money at hand, and then you want to go carry your investment to give to them. If you read this part of this book, Bansai's friend came to him and asked him to lend him 2 shekels, right, of his investment. And then his response was, "If I did have 2 shekels," Bansai responded gloomily, "to no one could I lend them, not even to you, my best friends, for they would be my fortune, my entire fortune. No one lends his entire fortune, not even to his best friend." So as we are talking about investment and debt and all those things, I think I would like to just chip this one in, because sometimes you're just pushed to the corner.
It's a great contribution, great contribution. I think we are all victims to this one. We sometimes care too much about people, and then we give out everything. I also like to pass it on. I remember I went to Ghana with some Chinese, company, and then the boss, I found him to be very, very stingy. And then one day we argued on money, and he told me, "Francis, do you know that if your arms are so weak, you open up your arms so weak, you'll never be rich, you never get to where I am?" So I sat down quietly, I was thinking deep about it. I realized that maybe he had a point there, but sometimes we have to be kind though. But this is a general thing, that as far as you have a purpose and you want to achieve, you sometimes ought to be stingy. That is really a point here made by Miss. Thank you for your contribution. And I think we end the questions and answers here, and then contribution, I think, is great. We all can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Francis.
Yeah. Okay. As I saw a comment from I think someone saying he can't hear anything. So Victor, please, is it okay? Can you hear now? All right. I don't know. Is everyone hearing me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Edward has a question, please. I think we have to try to end the questions here. But you can give out, Edward, you can bring your question. We are supposed to finish by 10, so please.
Okay. Hello, yeah. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, so please, apart from the licenses and also the certificate of financial institutions in Ghana, so what are the other indications that you can give to us to know whether this financial institution will last for long, like it will not collapse, or the government will not revoke their licenses or certificates. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Baiden. Mr. Baiden is here.
Hello, Francis. I'm here.
Yeah, please, did you hear the question?
Yes, I did. I did hear the question. And I want to say, was it Edward? Edward, that is an excellent question. Thank you so much for that question as well. So you simply want to know what to look out for before you place your money in an investment company in Ghana to be sure they are not going to have their license revoked. I'm sure you are speaking to recent happenings in the financial sector in Ghana about 2 years back or so, where we had some companies that had their license being revoked for one reason or another, and some issues coming with depositors funds. So you want to know how safe your money is in selecting some kind of investment in Ghana. So basically, I always look out for a few things, and with your permission, I'll go ahead and share. And this is, first of all, you need to find out, one, how long has this company been in operation? So you look at the length of time the company has been in operation. Now you also, number two, find out the ownership of this institution. Is it an institution that is publicly traded on the stock exchange, or is a private business? Definitely, you know some of the challenges that comes with a company being privately owned. We have very good privately owned companies, but sometimes the decision of the owner can really affect the fortunes of the company simply because it's owned by just one individual. So that also lets you know the level of risk to which you are exposing your money to. So if this institution is a publicly traded company, it simply means you and I can be part owners of such an institution, and we can hold them accountable simply because we host annual general meetings in these companies where you get to understand and know what is happening in the company, where the company's finances are going. The company, by law, has to publish their financial records. So if it's a private company, they decide what they publish out for their investors. They can polish their books. But if it's a publicly traded company on the stock exchange, definitely by regulation, they are going to, by law, be enforced to publish their financial records. So if the company is not making profit, the company is having some kind of bad investments, the company is not doing well, this is something that as an investor, you'll be able to see far ahead of time and be able to take a decision before such a company should collapse or have its license being revoked. Also, you need to look at the company's funds under management. Is this a company? And I know usually when you talk about this, a lot of institutions say then what happens to startup companies? Because if you are saying looking at the funds under management, I mean, it's very important. If it's a startup company, yes, some startup companies are very good, but they have very small funds under management, and it simply stands to how that kind of money can also be lost as well. So if you have a company that has a huge funds under management, you are cushioned because your risk is highly diversified. Imagine the company's funds under management is just 10,000 US dollars, for example. It means that is the only float the company has to make investments on the investment market in Ghana. But if the company has the funds under management of well over 500 million, not 10,000, it means that your risk is highly diversified because it's a pool of investments. And for that matter, the company can invest into a number of securities. Whether one is doing well or one is not doing well, they can even out the risk and your money is protected. So these are some of the few things that you can look out for when planning an investment with any institution, and it can guide you also to make a more informed decision. But as we've shared earlier on, always seek advice from people who are experienced in that field. So all I've said can be a good indicator, but if you are not an expert in that field, it is not enough to use such information to take a decision. I recall when a lot of my clients were coming to me to withdraw money to invest into some of these high yielding investments, we give them advice because we are experts on the market. We understand what the market can actually produce in the sense of the highest interest rate that the market can produce. So if there's a company out there quoting a return which is unbelievable, which is not real, we are in a very good position to advise the customer because that is our expertise. And I mean, for those customers who listened, they had their money being protected, but for those who did not, we all know what happened. So just as we've said over and over and over again in this presentation, please, please, please make sure you always seek advice from people who are well experienced in the kind of investment you want to do or the kind of company you want to invest in, and they would freely advise you if that is a good step or not. So I hope I've been able to answer your question. Francis, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Baiden. And Zacchaeus, I think your question has been answered by the Vice President, Victor. You can add his WeChat on the VKAB GB. You can see it, or you can check the chat room and then take his WeChat ID.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you can. He is gonna attend to you. All right. Now, is there any question? I think we didn't start exactly 8, so we can give some extra, 1 to 2 minutes. If anybody has a question, Mr. Baiden is here. He can still help us out. Any question or contribution?
Hello, Francis. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Francis, I think before we go ahead, if I don't make mention of this, I'll be in trouble. So we have my boss who has been able to join us in this particular presentation, and I would like to make mention that she is the head of my department, Managed Funds at Republic Investments Ghana Limited, and she's been able to make time to join us as well. So Miss Lydia Nkrumah, thank you so much for making time to be here. I have some colleagues as well who are here, but I need to make mention that my overall boss is also on this call as well, and it's such an honor for her to give her time to be here with us. So Lydia, thank you so much for making time to be on this call.
Okay, Miss Lydia has any contribution or any question? Maybe since she's your boss, she could have some ideas or support in any form, or it's okay. We can move on, right? Miss Lydia?
Yes, please, Francis, we can move on.
Yeah,
right.
Francis, Kwesi, thank you. You can move on.
All right, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
The one that really caught my attention was a question about how to get out of debt. So I want to add that most time we should try as much as possible and live below our means. Sometimes as students or wherever we find ourselves, we try to live some ostentatious life or extravagant life. And if you're not careful, you run into debt. So my little contribution to that is we should try as much as possible and live below your means so that you get extra funds to save. And then there was also a question or a comment about how you have to be stingy to be rich. I mean, well, I don't know how it works, but I mean, giving is a good thing. But like the gentleman rightly said, I missed the name. I mean, you have to have a plan. That's why Kwesi mentioned in the presentation that at least 10% of your income.
Mr. Baiden.
Yeah,
Mr.
Baiden. Yeah, the name is Baiden, yes.
Yeah, Baiden.
So you should have he mentioned you should save at least 10% of your income. So at least everybody, you should have a plan, a financial goal. So at the end of the day, if I'm earning X amount, this is how much I'm giving to charity, this is how much I'm giving to my church donation offering, and all that should come into play. Then in that case, if you live by it and you go rigidly by it, you will not be overspending your income and then run into debt. So we should try as much as possible and have a plan, a budget, a monthly budget. Sometimes initially it's difficult to follow those kind of budget because of sometimes where we find ourselves, you need to remit family, you need to do here and there. You know, as Africans, extended family are always looking up to us. It's not our fault, but then at least the discipline comes from us. And that is what I want to add to it. And thank you so much for making time, Francis. I think it's been a fruitful discussion, and we want more of such seminars going forward. So if it's possible, you can hook us up with, other schools and as other institutions for such talks. We will be happy. And I look forward to seeing all of your investment application forms completed and starting off, so that it's not just a talk show. So we actually put action to our words. So I'm very grateful, and I wish you all the best. And please be safe, be safe, be safe.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thank you so much, Miss Vivian. Okay, then as the moderator for this one, I think I will put up my last question. This is very dicey, Mr. Baiden. Maybe you can help us. Like this issue of being too, kind, or too sometimes ought to be stingy. In what circumstance or in which particular moment of our times do we have to be, kind, in terms of when the time we are investing, and which particular moment we ought to be like stingy to balance stuff, to be on track? It's really dicey here.
Hello, Francis. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
That's
an excellent question. Please come again.
I think we need advice here, because sometimes I get confused. We do care so much that sometimes when people come to our aid, come to us for help, we always want to help others, but we look down and we feel like we might be in trouble, but we still take the risk to help people, and we get stranded on the road. So this is something that we really need a guidance.
Okay, Francis, that is an excellent question. I think I only have the name here as Miss, the lady who gave us that very insightful contribution from the book, which is The Richest Man in Babylon. So for me, what our advice is that giving is actually a blessing. And for those who give, definitely they also earn more. So if you even read the book also talks about giving. So just as my boss rightly said, it's not really about being stingy, but also what I also want to add is that Miss made a very important statement that sometimes, okay, somebody comes to ask you for money, the person says, oh, I'll pay back, and you end up going to pick your investments, money that you are putting down for your future, money that you are putting down to cater for your future expenditure, to cater for your family, to cater for that school fees. I mean, this is money that you have planned to be able to protect, and create wealth for yourself. And you actually look around you don't have any money, and you go and fall on such money to come and give to somebody as a loan, which they never really pay back. So that is the advice she was trying to give, that it's not about not giving money and not being kind, because definitely there is blessing in giving, but you don't give when it comes to affect you. That is what you should look at. So I always use the rule that if I give, I don't expect it back. If you have the ability to give, you give an amount you know you don't expect back. That is what I live with. So if I know what I'm giving you is going to cost me, and it's something that I cannot afford it to be able to give, I make sure I say a very big I'm sorry, and I give you what I am able to give that I know I don't expect back. So basically, that is what I'll say on that. As you said, it's very dicey, and I wouldn't want to say something that somebody will say, oh, Kwesi said I should be stingy, I shouldn't give this money. There's blessing in giving, but don't give when it affects you. That is the rule of thumb here. I hope this is able to help. I think Miss has her hand up as well.
Okay, Miss, we
Yeah,
open.
so thank you for the emphasis. That was exactly what I meant.
Yeah,
We are not
yeah.
saying do not give, but the emphasis is not your investment, right? Not your investment. Sometimes, as Mr. Baiden said, you give and you do not even expect it back. That is there. That one is not part of your investment, right? As he said, that 10% that you have kept aside for your investment is untouchable. So someone do not wake up one morning and then comes to meet you, and then you go carry that investment that you have made for 10 years and you carry everything and you just give it to someone. What if he or she does not pay you back? That means all the sweat that you have labored for in 10 years, they are all gone. It's different from being stingy. We are not talking about being stingy here, right? We are talking about investment, your future investment. That is your fortune. Yeah, so I think we
It
should
is
just
clear.
draw the line and
It's very clear now. It's very clear. All right, thank you, Miss Lydia and Mr. Baden. Okay, so now I think we'll close the session of questions and answers. Thank you, everyone, for contributing or bringing in a question to make this program more successful. All right, so now we will call on. We will invite the president of the national president, Mr. Collins Say, to hear, address from him. Maybe he has something to say, because we didn't he didn't join us in the beginning, and I think I just got a notice he's in. Mr. Collins.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening. Good evening to everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I think it's been a fruitful session, and I think anyone who joined this program has really learned a lot. There are some things that I really got to know over the past years. I haven't taken note of them, but I think through this program, I've noted quite a lot of things now that I really need to take into consideration. And we are very much grateful for the speaker for this insights that he has given to us. So I think going forward, let's all see how best we can make use of this knowledge that has been shared to us. This knowledge has been given to us freely, and let's take advantage of it and make good use of it. I wouldn't say much, and I would say let's continue to stay together and let's continue to be united. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. National President Collins. We appreciate you for at least speaking to us. It is enough. It's time is far spent. It's 10 minutes past 10, and so we will move to the session of closing remarks, and we are going to invite the Vice President, the NUGS Vice President, Chengdu, Chapter Victor Agbesi, to give us a closing remarks.
All right, thank you
Mr.
very
Victor.
much. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. MC Francis. Without much ado, I would like to say a very big thank you to Republic Investment Ghana for giving us the resource person. And then our appreciation also goes to Madam Mrs. Susan Nkrumah. And we are very much happy that our resource person, Mr. Kwesi Baiden, took his time out of his busy schedules to actually give us this brief and most important part of our life. I am somebody who really appreciate money. So things of this sort are very, very important to me. I believe my brothers and sisters also have the same thought as mine. Without much ado, I'd like to remind our colleagues that you invest 10% of your wealth, you make sure that you live beyond your means, and then also becoming financially successful is a choice. Those are the words from our speaker. And without wasting time, I would like to go through the 5 laws of money. The first one says that money comes to those who save. Money comes to those who saves. Money multiplies for those who save it. Your money multiplies for those who save it. Money stays with the person who you entrust it wisely into. You should entrust your money into firms or companies whom you've entrusted. Money is lost when it is invested in the right direction, or companies that you don't, or you don't have, you are not interested in. When you invest in them, you lose your money. And then the last one says that money is lost as the fast rate by pursuing get rich quick scheme. Get rich quick scheme. When you see the investment is very, very beautiful, you want to invest everything you have. The get rich quick syndrome, when you do that, there is a probability that your money will be lost. And then the higher the risks, the higher the returns. Don't forget, the higher the risks, the higher the return. Without much ado, I'd like to also remind our members that our second phase of academic seminar is coming on 20th February 2021. So we hope that you join massively. Some of the things that we'll be looking at during this seminar is how you identify your research problem, how you identify your research problem, how you formulate your argument, and then how you actually structure your research as well. And academic committee chairman, will be taking us through some few things, some journals that we can quickly publish and then move on as well. So without much ado, I would like to hand over my microphone to the MC to actually continue the rest of the program. We are very grateful, Republic Bank. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kwesi. And we'll move, quickly to the vote of thanks. And with this session, we will call on Miss Judith Ayakai Brown to give us a vote of thanks. Thank you. Miss Judith, are you there?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Good evening to you all in China, and also good afternoon to those in Ghana. I'm very humbled to give the vote of thanks today. Mr. Chairman, my fellow executives, NUGS-CHINA President, our most valuable invited guests and our members, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. On this day, I would say we thank God for making this program a success. We wouldn't have been able to do this without him. And we thank our speaker, Mr. Kwesi, Anamoah, Baiden, and his team for giving us this opportunity to get in-depth knowledge about keys to financial success. We thank you very, very much for making this program a knowledgeable and a successful one. We are very grateful to you. And to our entire members for also honoring this invitation and also joining us for this program. And all other chapter members, we thank you very much for coming through to make this program a success. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brown. And now we'll move on straight to the closing prayer. And the closing prayer will be given by Mr. Felix Kwame Amevo. Is Mr. Amevo here?
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, Francis.
Yeah, we can hear. I can hear you. I don't know what it is. I can hear you.
So, Honorable Felix is not with us at the moment. So, Honorable Mariama will give us the closing prayer. If she can hear me, she can just give us a prayer and then we close. Okay. Thank you.
Please, am I being heard? Hello.
You're on speaker. I think I can hear you.
Okay, so can we humbly be in the mode of prayer?
All right.
Ya Allah, we thank you for being with us throughout this meeting. Your presence has been felt in this place from the beginning to the end of this program. We pray for the life of our resource person for a very impactful and insightful presentation, which I believe will be very, very productive for all of us in our lives. Ya Allah, we thank you for the lives of every individual who participated in this program. We pray that whatever thing that happened here or transpired here would be very, very impactful onto our lives. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen.
Amen. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you balanced the two. You know, we heard amen. Oh, you're awesome. All right, so this is the end of the show. The seminar is over, and I really appreciate everyone for making time to join this one. And we all learned a lot. I'm sure everyone got something. We all are learning. We have the PhD, we have undergrad, we have everyone surging forward in life. We believe that we have some knowledge, but we always need to come together as a group and then learn more. And we can share opinions, we can put up questions, and these are things that really went on well today, and I really appreciate everyone. And Mr. Baiden's, I think you can still check the screen, is details. Those who want to contact him directly, we have the investment at republicghana.com. The K Baiden, that's his personal email, at republicghana.com. You can just take a screenshot. You don't need to worry so much, or you take a photo. And we have his the telephone numbers here, and then every information here. So if you can contact him directly if you need further advice, or you want to seek advice on investments and other things related to finances. Thank you all for joining, and I am the moderator, so I'll be the last to speak. Or anybody here who wants to maybe say a final word. I don't know if the president is here. If there's anything, I can leave it up to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Francis. I think the program has officially come to a close, and we'd like to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Let's have a wonderful night, and those in Ghana too, we are very grateful to you, Mr. Kwesi Baiden and the family at Public Investments Ghana. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. I hope we can log off.
Yeah, so we are done.
Please,
All right,
let's remember our academic program.